Okay, is this large enough for you to be able to see these speakers, Tanya? Can you, I don't know if you've seen them as large as I am. Can you see the speakers enough to know who's talking?
No, I don't see any speakers.
Oh, hold on, can't hear you. Okay, now what?
I can't see any speakers.
You can't see the speakers?
No.
Okay, so I'm going to probably have to do away with myself completely. Let me see if this works. Now, can you?
No.
No. Okay. Oh, I know why. I have to share screen. It takes me a while. I'll get there.
It's okay.
No, it's not going to use that. Share screen. How about now?
Oh, hold on. It went away. Yes.
Okay, and it's large enough?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm not going to change anything then. Not touching another button. And you can hear me, so you don't need to see me.
Okay.
So we are going to start with the court. And here we go. Oh boy. On the record. Adolph Pilcher, Ignacio Hurtado. Mr. Hurtado, let me start out by asking you whether you have any problem with anything that the plaintiff in this case is asking for. Do you have any problem? Like what, Your Honor? Basically, he's asking you not to harass him. Do you have any problem with that? Not at all, Your Honor. Okay. Since I work 7 days a week, 10 hours a day, and I just got off from work at 4 o'clock this morning, I don't have no time, really. Okay, that's right. I'd sure be interested to hear what that man has to say, though. At this point, rather than go to the merits, the court would prefer to go ahead and grant the orders if you don't have any problem with them. You do have a right to a full meeting. Okay, you know what, while we do this, Tanya, I'm leaving you so I can hear you. So I just think it's gonna work better right now. So my speakers are on, I can hear you. How is that going?
It's going great. I can hear well.
Okay. Okay, so here we go. Now I got that all messed up. Okay, so we're gonna continue on. And I'm going to start with the court again. Here we go. At this point, rather than go to the merits, the court would prefer to go ahead and grant the orders if you don't have any problem with them. You do have a right to a full hearing. Okay, I don't want it misunderstood. What do you mean, grant the orders? The orders basically, at this point, are requesting that there be no contact, no harassment, no verbal harassment, which seems to have, the allegations are that those took place in the past. Fine, Your Honor. Well, like in this case, what I would like to ask Your Honor is like a mutual restraining order. That's what I was going to suggest. Okay, based on only one thing though. You see, I happen to. It's hard to explain. I was going to write it up. I live in a cross, north, south, east, and west. I live on the south side where the street ends. There is only one way out, and that is north by Mr. Adolph's house here. In other words, I have no other way to get out. Now, I have a friend of ours, a lady, lives about 8 feet away from us, from our trailer. And Mr. Adolph here, this is the one who has come over to talk to her through the window, stating that I'm no good and this and that. I heard him the first time when this incident happened. I would like to suggest to you to carry this restraining order that he shouldn't be allowed to come this way, because it would kind of disturb me to hear Mr. Adolph here, 8 feet away from me, telling this dear friend of ours he is no good and this and that. If you wanted to hear a little bit of the detail how this happened, I would be glad to brief. That's what I'm trying to avoid. Fine, Your Honor. If we can agree to mutual restraining orders and no contact on either side. Fine, I'll agree to that. As a matter of fact, I'll let Mr. Adolph know here I bought a house. I'm ready to move out. I cannot take my kids being raised in that kind of environment. Maybe he jumped the trigger a little bit early because he didn't know. How soon are you moving? It's in escrow. As soon as they tell me I can move in. Mr. Pitchler, do you have any problem with mutual restraining orders at this point? Restraining order for 3 years? Yes, that would be fine. We're suggesting it be mutual. Again, the court is concerned with any contacts. The court obviously has the power to fine you, to put you in jail if there are violations. The court doesn't want to have to do that. I think if we can get you both back to work, that's all we're looking for. I have never abused it or never harassed the defendant. I don't want to. That's all the court is saying. That is important, that neither one of you do that. By defendant's trailer is another trailer. There lives a woman which the defendant has helped at times, but she asked me for help, like she asked me for work on the roofing, repair the roofing. So I can go, I will not talk with somebody. Maybe I was now very angry, so maybe I say something that it would, I call television and everything because of this case with defendant. It's no problem, but this problem, 14 years, okay. It sounds like he's moving, so the problem is going to go away immediately. Again, the court would suggest mutual orders. Hopefully, there will not be any trouble between now and the time that he moves. What I request from defendant, say the truth, that he say that he was working. I was German. I am a killer, that I killed many people. Say the truth. I don't want to hurt him. No, I will give him hand for this. When he say this, I have proof that I was never German. I have proof that I'm okay. So, but he can help me to fight back same country, which is behind him. He don't know there is a country behind him, like Sweden. I cannot blame Sweden. He begins these allegations. I was not in concentration camp. I was no German soldier. I don't kill nobody. but I want to be free. It is terrible life through accusations. I want to get him here, how he knows that I'm German, why he says this, because this is not the truth. But never, nobody openly accused me in the court, only behind. I have bad record, I will see them. I asked defendant how he knows this. If he denies, he don't say nothing. I have witness behind, 3 witnesses, which can say that he has, and his children, they have used German killer. I say nothing, but only he would know why. I would go to the federal court and fight again. This life is terrible. Have I right to ask defendant where he gets the information? You have a right to a full hearing. Again, I don't know if that serves any useful purpose. The problem is if he says he's not going to harass you anymore, not make any more statements, isn't that really what you want? Yes. How we doing? We're going to do Rebecca at the end. You okay, Tanya?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, we're going to continue on then. Here we go. Pitchler, sorry, it's Pitchler. But second, I will have information like I have with me here, information, and when he says, I don't know, I was only mad, I don't hear nothing about you are German, okay? But when he says somebody told this, I take this person. I will write to the person and this person and the other person. From this person, I come to Freedom of Information Act, where I get because I was fighting already, we are friendly, but they have written only Freedom of Information that I am German. Why? I have paper here. Wrong victim stabbed by anti-Nazis. I have this clipping. I am afraid. So what I should do, Your Honor, to get from him information, if he is willing to talk after court, okay. The court is really here to protect you from any harassment, okay? Yes, he's willing to agree to an order from the court to mutual restraining orders which would end any harassment. Yes, I don't know what else you're requesting of the court. From defendant, if he has some information about what he has accused me, so you want me to ask him whether he has any information regarding any accusations. Do you have any basis on which you accuse the plaintiff in this case of any of the allegations that he has in his petition? Your Honor, I will not admit to something that is not true for his goals, his ego. How would I say it? I have to think exactly. I don't know anything about the man actually, but up until about 2 months ago, Your Honor, I thought we were friends. I thought we were friends because I gave him the air conditioner for his house and this and that. I thought we were friends, honestly, but in this world, you never know. The lady next to me has a lot to do with it, especially what he said about the roof and this and that. Apparently, I'm in his way, some way down the road that he needs to, I don't know why, but he needs to get me out of the way so he can be free enough to do the work that the lady requires. He jumped the trigger a little too quick because he didn't know. I didn't tell nobody. I shouldn't tell nobody what my moves are. I work hard. I've been trying to reach a goal for my family. Why should I admit to something that actually I don't know? I heard the man talking through the window to the lady and I say, Adolf, please, if you continue harassing my family and myself, I will have to come to the conclusion to be honest to you, this is my words, to call the United States federal government on you. I don't have to go nowhere else. I don't believe it's against the law for a person to call the law for anything like this, because I didn't want, it kind of makes me feel bad. Really, we haven't got to the details of what really happened. Again, you know, I would just as soon not, but you don't have any information, not a bit, Your Honor, as to the allegations, not a bit. I thought he was my friend. First time, by the way, 17 years in Stockton and never visit your jails, your court. I'm a man who respects the law because that's the way I was taught in this country when I came here 11 years of age. Mr. Pitchler, does that answer your question again? Yes. The court would grant mutual restraining orders. It is very important that there be no contact. At this point, we would grant the orders as requested. Again, the court can put you in jail, confine you. Hopefully, we're not going to have to do that. With Mr. Hurtado moving, I don't think we have a problem, Your Honor, except for one thing. What is going to happen? Is he going to be able to come towards my house? The lady, the one apparently he is going to do the work for, she lives 8 feet away from me, like he admitted talking to her, maybe because he was mad. You don't have any problem with him working on the house, though? No, that is between him and her. We'll make a specific exception for him working on the house and also for egress and ingress to and from the property. Okay, so you can both get in and out of the trailer park and get to the street. Fine. To me, what you have suggested is more than happy to be. I just can't afford to be in here. I think from both standpoints, it's important there be no further contact. I think that is what the order is going to do. Thank you. Thank you very much, Your Honor. Okay. I'm going to go turn on my lights here above me. And I think what we're going to do at this point is work on some two voice, and I'm going to continue to use this speaker. There, I'll make it a little bit bigger. Make me bigger. Oh, I can't. Okay, so we're going to do some two voice. And I'm actually going to do what your week 1 two voice assignment was for EV 360. So this should be a little review for my students here. They just did an update, and you're going to need. Was it Firefox or Java? You're not the only one. So, who, Whitney? Yeah. I think I'll ask Ms. Close to take a look at it and see, but yeah. Okay. So this is just going to be two voice now. So I'm going to use the woman. Whoops. Oops, I got to get back on this program, this window. Okay, so there's our question. There's our answer. Okay, starting with the question. And here we go. This is multitasking on crack, let me tell you. Okay, here we go with the question. Where do you work at this time? At the Deliver You. With your job at Deliver You, you're sitting down, is that correct? Yes, right. I drive. Why did you take this job? Because I knew it would be something that I could do sitting down, and it was the only thing that I could get at the time. In fact, Dr. Miller has told you that you probably are not going to be able to get employment in the future in anything where you have to stand. Is that correct? Yes. He's indicated to you that your employment is going to be limited to jobs that don't require standing or walking. Is that correct? Yes. Now, you said, Dave, sometimes you would close the restaurant. Is that right? Yes. Would Tom sometimes close the restaurant? We have all closed the restaurant, yes. When you say we have all closed the restaurant, who do you mean? The cooks, Tom, Jeannie, Stephen, Betty, and Homer. The night we're talking about in October of '86, when this accident occurred, who left the restaurant with you and Tom when you closed? It had to be the dishwashers, Chuck and Mike. You said before, when you got to the Stevens house, Tom and Mary decided to return to the restaurant. Right. Okay. Who let you back into the restaurant? Tom let me back into the restaurant. Okay. Did he use a key that he had to get back in? Yes. Had this happened before? Yes, it had. Okay. Dave, you also said that it was not uncommon for everyone to sit around after the restaurant had closed at night and have a beer, and that's including Mr. and Mrs. Downs. Is that right? No. Mrs. Downs? No. I never seen Mrs. Downs drink. How about Mr. Downs? Mr. Downs has stayed around and had a beer with us, yes. When you say had a beer with us, who do you mean by us? The cooks and a couple of the waitresses. Were Chuck and Mike ever there? Jeannie was there. Okay. How old was Jeannie at the time of this accident? I don't know. I wouldn't even want to guess. She'd slap me. Was there ever an occasion when folks who might have worked there weren't over 21 and would sit around with you guys, with Mr. Downs there, and share a beer at the end of the day? No, I don't think so. Would Mr. Downs ask you to pay for the beers that you shared? No, he always gave them to us. Okay. You weighed about 180 pounds at the time of the accident, is that right? Yes, a little over. And you have lost weight since then? Yes, I sure have. Do you have any idea how much Tom weighed at the time of the accident? No, I don't know. And let's see, how much did he have to drink that night that you saw? About 4 or 5 shots and about 4 or 5 beers. And had Tom started drinking that night before the restaurant closed? Yes, he did. Okay, when he started drinking, when was that? The waitresses take turns getting off early, and he was one of the ones that got off a little bit earlier than the other waitresses that night. He had a beer while he was waiting for the rest of us. Okay. When you were tossed out of the car after the accident, you lost consciousness, is that right? Yes, I sure did. What's the first thing you remember when you came to? I heard Tom asking if everybody was okay. I heard Tom yelling, Dave. Were you still a little dazed? Yes, I had no idea what was happening. How long did you remain a little dazed? I would say until I got to my aunt's house that afternoon. Okay, so you were still kind of dazed when the ambulance came and took you to the hospital? Yes, I was. And were you still kind of dazed when Tom told you, Dave, we got to tell the police this? Yes, I was really out of my head. Okay, and you went along with what he asked you then at that time? Right. I guess I'd do anything he asked me to. Before the accident happened, when he was swerving the wheel back and forth and trying to make the car fishtail, was he laughing or saying, watch this or look at this or anything like that? Oops, I don't remember anything like that. Do you remember him laughing or talking or anything? I don't remember that either. Okay, you said that on occasion you had consumed liquor or beer at the restaurant and not paid for it. Did other employees also do that? Yes, I think they all did it. Okay, what other employees did that? Just about all of us had stayed there and drank without paying for it. Would Tom do that? Yes, he would stay there. Okay, would other employees of the restaurant do that when Tom was around? Yes, they would. Did Tom ever give alcohol to the other employees and not request that they pay for that? Yes, he did. Have you seen him do that? Yes, I've seen him do it a lot. Okay, you also said that Tom had been kicked off the basketball team. Assume that this was in high school, is that right? Yes, that's right. It was for a drinking incident. Do you know how old he was when this happened? No, he just mentioned it. Was it before he knew you? Yes, I think so. I'm not sure. Or before you knew him? I don't know for sure. Okay. His parents would have known about that, wouldn't they? No, I don't think so. Were Wayne or Betty around when Tom was drinking in the restaurant before it closed? Yes, they were. How often would that occur? He usually had something to drink every night he worked. Okay, and usually every night the parents would be there too, for a little while. Dave, you said that you had bruised your kidneys in the accident. Were you passing blood in your urine? Yes. Okay, my reader's here. So we're going to go to live 2, boys. Good morning. I have to bring a chair over. Erica, before I forget, this is information for you for the First Impressions program. Okay, I'm going to close out of the speaker program. And I'm going to get Brenda and myself in here now. Forgot about that. You're going to have to come closer. Yeah. Scooch on up.
I think I have the sunlight.
No, it's a dark day here. That is for sure. Okay, I'm going to send this up. And I'm going to reach you every 15. I don't need this. Okay, here we go. I'll let you be the question.
Okay, begins with a question for the record. Think back to the first job you can recall that you did.
Well, I worked for a lumber company.
Do you remember what year that was, roughly?
No, that was quite some time ago.
Would that have been in the early 70s?
Yeah.
Couple years maybe after you got out of prison?
Could be. I couldn't say for sure. Worked for them for a couple of months.
Do you recall what you did for them?
Worked on Green Chain.
Do you recall what you did after that?
Not really. Just the jobs I mentioned before. And then I was working at Indian Health Services for maintenance for them. That's when I was injured.
What were you doing in maintenance? What type of job duties did you have?
Well, I dealt with all the sewers and water lines and just the labor work.
What's the highest rate of pay that you recall that you've ever received, either hourly or monthly, or whatever the breakdown would be?
I think about $500 or $600 a month.
What's the longest period of time that you ever worked at one job?
Maybe 6 months.
Did you ever work 40 or more hours per week?
Oh, yes.
What was the reason for not working continuously? Why did you stop your employment with Wright Brothers, for example?
Well, had a lot of family problems and stuff like this, and I wasn't really settled at that time.
I think you mentioned the parcel company.
Part and parcel.
Why did you stop working for them?
They laid us off because of the winter months. They never hire back.
Do you remember when that was?
No, I can't remember. I can't remember exactly.
Would that have been in the middle or late 70s, or would that have been closer to the early 1980s?
1978, maybe.
Are there any other jobs that you can recall that you've had?
Just Indian Health Services when I got injured.
How long did you work for them?
That was just part-time there, really. It was some kind of a program through the tribe. I can't recall how many months or whatever it was. I think it was under a deal where you worked for so long and then they would determine if they would hire you permanently. I don't recall what the program was all about.
Why weren't you able to work full-time at that time?
Well, I was working full-time at the time, but I wasn't working like a permanent position. Then after I got injured, I never worked at all. Okay, we're going to go back and repeat just a tad faster. So that was at 160. I don't know, something about this camera. It takes, I think when you move, it just, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Could be a setting or something.
I didn't know if that was me or...
No. Well, look, every time we move,
Oh, okay.
it's always trying to focus. I don't
Okay.
know. I don't know. Let's start here. And let's do, this will be a shorter segment because it's going to be faster. So hang on. 2/14.
Okay. Begins with a question for the record. Are there any other jobs that you can recall that you've had?
Just Indian Health Services when I got injured.
How long did you work for them?
That was just part-time there, really. It was some kind of program through the tribe. I can't recall how many months or whatever it was. I think it was under a deal where you worked for so long and then they would determine if they would hire you permanently. I don't recall what the program was all about.
Why weren't you able to work full-time at that time?
Well, I was working full-time at the time, but I wasn't working like a permanent position. Then after I got injured, never worked at all.
Immediately before that job, what were you doing?
Nothing.
How long a period were you not working?
Oh, I don't recall how much time it was in between jobs.
Were you attempting to find work at that time?
No.
Why not?
Well, I was supposed to live with my relatives. I was a kid and really didn't know.
Was there a physical reason that you weren't working
Before my injury?
before your injury?
No, there wasn't.
You just chose not to work?
Yes.
And how long a period of time did you choose not to work? Do you recall?
No, I don't.
More than a year?
No, I can't recall.
During the period of time that you weren't working, that you chose not to work, how were you surviving financially?
Well, we get capital through the tribe, and that's basically all it was.
Were you on any welfare programs besides that?
No,
What's the per capita through the tribe that you would have been receiving at that time? Do you know?
I don't remember what they were at that time. They fluctuated through the years.
Were you able to support your family on that amount of money?
I didn't have a family at that time.
So your entire family has been since that time?
Well, I got married. The first time I got married in 1972, I believe it was. I can't remember exactly what the date was.
For the first time?
The first time. I can't remember one wedding date. I could never remember two. Okay, let's start up here and actually go down here. Same way.
Okay.
Oh, I'm blurry again.
There we go. Because I guess we moved around.
Yeah.
Okay, to answer the question, for the record, you just chose not to work?
Yes.
And how long a period of time did you choose not to work? Do you recall?
No, I don't.
More than a year?
No, I can't recall.
During the period of time that you weren't working, that you chose not to work, how were you surviving financially?
Well, we get capital through the tribe, and that's basically all it was.
Were you on any welfare programs besides that?
No.
What's the per capita through the tribe that you would have been receiving at that time? Do you know?
I don't remember what they were at that time. They fluctuated through the years.
Were you able to support your family on that amount of money?
I don't have a family at that time.
So your entire family has been since that time?
Well, I got married. The first time I got married in 1972, I believe it was. I can't remember exactly what the date was.
For the first time?
The first time, and I got a divorce 8 years later.
Did you have any children from that marriage?
Yes, two. The two oldest boys. Work was very limited at that time too, because I didn't have a GED, and I didn't have training till I went to school in Albuquerque, and then I did get married. I got a job with Wright Brothers and worked for them for a short period of time. Then the marriage problems and stuff.
So you got divorced. Do you recall what year that was?
I think it was 78, 79. I think it was.
When were you remarried?
I believe it was 81.
Did you ever work as an engineering aide?
Just when I was in school. We worked out of the company. They were showing us. That's the only time.
Did you ever apply for a job as an engineering aide?
Yes, I did. Down at St. Ignatius. They refused to hire me at that time because I wasn't a veteran.
Because you were a veteran or were not?
Was not.
Was not a veteran. Did you ever again apply for a position like that?
No, I didn't.
Did you become involved in a drug treatment program in the late 1970s?
Alcohol, yes.
Did you go somewhere for that treatment?
Yes, I did.
So do you consider yourself a recovering alcoholic?
Yes, I do.
Have you had any treatment since then?
No.
Do you take any medication for high blood pressure?
No, I don't.
Do you take any heart medication?
No. Okay, I think we're going to stop there. And because I do have to I'm going to go ahead and end class a little bit early so I can do a couple of in-class assignments here with my students. So we're going to do 2 voice takes. And we should have at least one 160 and one 140. Okay. You have a brief for miles an hour and the difference between miles an hour and miles per hour. Is it MIR for miles an hour and add the P for per? Yeah, so it looks like I just have 1 2 voice at each speed, but you know what I'll do is then when we're done with the 2 voice, I'll go ahead and probably have time to do 1 more take. Since it's a short week, we didn't get all of these in this week. So, okay, the 160, we have some preview words. Oh, and I'm going to go ahead and stop recording and then I'll start again.